Morning, thanks for watching Dunsmore Moving Dirt. We're out on another project, a new place that a landowner has bought that joins some other places that we worked, and I've got videos on working on some stock tanks. But I got 3 stock tanks on the place that we know of, maybe one more. One's got water, this one's been dry for quite a while. Went down one side of his fence between him and his neighbor so he can kind of work on the fence, and I've got 2 more sides to do that. But this is what we're going to work on as far as working on the stock tank. This is the first one we're going to work on. This thing's been whittled on and everything else. There's 2 holes here. Don't really know why they did it like they did, but I'm going to try to make something out of it. There's a partition down here in it. No dirt piled on one side. Then they started piling dirt on this side here and left this open in here. And I think the water has been going out that, but this side over here is the low side. This side's the high side. So chances are the water needs to spill through this opening they left over here. And it's so narrow, I think I'm just gonna dig it in ways. Don't need no more dirt over there, but I need to raise this up over here because it's all pretty low, and block that off where the water has gone out. Maybe let it spill over here through this opening. That's going to be the lower of the 2 sides. I'm pretty sure that's what I was going to do this morning, take a shot or 2 before I started working. So then here's the back hole here. I guess at one time this front hole had water in it and they was wanting to make it bigger, and I don't know why they didn't get no closer to this. Maybe so they didn't want water to come in, and water comes from the south. There's a big pond up above this, probably 1/4 of a mile, in this drainage area, kind of where the trees look like they're dead. That's where the water comes from that pond into this one, so there's plenty of watershed. But I'm thinking of making that in the spillway, digging all this out, deepening that hole, raising all that up on that north end, and then this may be too far to shove the dirt to the north, so I may clear off just one side and dig this out. But it's all going to be one hole when I get through. That mud is hardly any mud at all out there, so I should be able, it'll be a narrow hole, but I can probably get some depth on it. And like I say, if I can keep it from going through that low area and let it go through here, that'll raise the water level up quite a bit. So I'm going to set this level up, take a few shots, and let you know what I found out. Bye. Yes, it would not turn on. You think I'd learn to do that before I walked 100 yards away from the pickup, but it did that the other day, and I kind of pulled it out and pushed it back in and locked it in, and it come on. So I guess I got all of the good out of those batteries that was in there. It'll run a long time on batteries, so I keep a set with me and everything. So you look at Google Earth, and if it's a year that it rains, all these things was full of water, but you can about tell the years at the drought because you look on there and everything's real low or no water at all in there. So we've just been in one of those dry spells, and of course now's the time to kind of fix the tanks and work on creek crossings, because the creek's a pretty good sized creek we're going to be working on, and when it's wet, the whole thing stands full of water all year long. So that didn't do nothing, did it? We are working. The batteries was in right, I just didn't have it pushed in and locked down good enough. So everything's got to work like it's supposed to. let it do its little thing and it'll level up, and then we'll be good to go. Don't look at the laser, it hurts your eyes. So. Hope I didn't blind you. This little thing takes 9-volt batteries, so they last quite a while. I have seen some pretty good sized deer in here. Big covey of quail the other day, so there's a little wildlife in here, so that's good. And he's going to start spraying these mesquite trees next year. So I mean, there's not many roads out through here. They're growed up, so I'm not going to just go tearing up a bunch of brush other than what we're doing now. And them big trees are the stumps are coming up, but he's going to wait and clear a lot of his roads out once he sprays these things, and it sucks that poison down. Because if I break them off and they come back, there needs to be enough to pull that poison down to that stump. So them other places that I've been on, he sure has a good kill on that stuff. So may have to come back and open up some roads and stuff. Oh, that says 5.3. I'm going to see what the highest part is, and then I'll know. I believe it's going to start going downhill now. That's whatever the highest part is, that's the control point. .5, so we're going downhill from there. So that's the control point of 5.3 of the elevation if this is the spillway. It's been 70 degrees the last 3 or 4 days. Now the wind's out of the north, kind of foggy and cool. That's okay, it is fall. Let's just look here and see what this is in the hole. Okay, that's a 10-1 and a 5.3. That is a 4 foot, almost 5 foot of water. And I imagine this over here is lower than that spillway we just shot. Well, I think the water was going out of it. Here. But that was an up close shot. Okay, this is a foot and a 1/10 lower than that side over there. So it was going out here. So automatically when I close this off here, I'll add a foot of water to what it was, and we know that that was a 4 foot 8/10 of water right now spilling around that side. So if I've got the room to get that 10 foot deep, that'll be 14, 8, 15 foot of water. So maybe I can let these slopes stay a little steep. Get him a nice little hole here. I don't want to have to move that pile of dirt to widen it out. That's what you don't want to do. And hopefully this side's a foot higher right here, or I can put a little dirt up here if it is. Well, this is about 3/10 lower, but I don't want it to spill on this side. If I have to, I'll put a little dirt on here and tie it into where the level is, and it'll spill that way, because that side's 3/10. No use losing 3/10 of water around these parts. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'll either set the camera up on a tripod or figure that out in a bit. I'm going to start digging this out. I was putting some topsoil back there so I can slope it down and topsoil it, and I may like do that a little bit. Then we'll set it up and let y'all see some of that digging. Welcome to Dunsmore Moving Dirt. I was going to set my camera up while I was digging over here this morning, and was fixing to do that and had a light come on. I've had a little bit of leak, coolant leak on this thing, and I'd had all the front off of it and looked and couldn't see nothing, tightened up all the clamps, so I started to work, and it'd leak out about a half a gallon a day out of that little old jug on top of the radiator. So I thought, well, if it don't leak no more than that, I couldn't ever see any water dripping on the ground nowhere. I said, well, it's not that big a leak, so I'll just watch it. So I've made it about 3 days and put a little bit of water in it this morning before I started, or coolant, put that in there and was working for a little bit, and light come on, said coolant low, so I went up here and shut it off, put a little bit, another 3/4 of a gallon in it, and I said, well, that'll get me the rest of the day. So run a little bit and the light come on again, so I looked down underneath it, and back under the cab here, there's a little inspection plate, but you can't get nothing back there to do nothing except see what's coming out. And sure enough, there was antifreeze dripping out of the back. So at least I know which direction to go now. So it's not up here on the front end. Then your hard bar goes through there, then it's separate. So I've got to raise the cab up. There's some heater hoses that leave the engine and come back, and 2 of them go to your def tank, and 2 of them go up here to the condenser. So anyway, instead of pushing dirt, I guess I'll be jacking that cab up. And once you do that, you can see all of them, and they'll be right up on top, but you just can't get to them unless you jack that cab up. But in a way, I'm glad I know what it is now, so I can splice the hose and that'll be done for us. Just I figured it'd be a matter of time for the, a hose is going to rub on something sooner or later. And sure enough, it's underneath the cab, so got to pull the limb risers to the front, and then it's got a little jack in there. You undo some bolts and pump it up, and the cab raises up. Right here's the mechanism for raising the cab up. There's a hydraulic jack up there, so it's just a pain to get to, but like I say, at least I'm glad I found where the leak is. So I guess instead of letting y'all see me pushing dirt, I guess you can watch me work on the bulldozer for a little bit, or attempt to. Anyway, we'll see what that looks like, and let y'all see a little bit of that this morning. Some of the stuff is metric and some of it's standard size, and that's pretty tight. But I think I've got something that'll break that. Could be worse. It could be 20 degrees and the wind blowing out of the north. Got the wind coming out of the northwest, but it's not cold yet, so you don't want to work on a water leak in the wintertime. That's just not even fun. If this will break them or not, I can't remember what I put them on there with. I guess it is going to break them. Spoke too soon. 2 out of 3 isn't bad. This probably ain't gonna work. Oh, wow.
Okay, I eat my bologna sandwich. Got my chain rigged up. Now this isn't OSHA approved, so, but it'll work as long as nothing goes wrong. Okay, safety's on, so now can look. I think I already see where it's at. This slide hadn't been on in too long, but it looks like it's still going to work. I'll let y'all look over the edge. Now it's not very pretty in there, so, and it's definitely dirty. That'll never get cleaned up until you do that right there, so. Wait a minute, just in case. You can see what I mean. If something happens, that was to come loose, then we're gonna go all the way down and they stick right through each door of the cab, which that's not usually a good thing. So just a little precautionary measure. This might slow it down just a smidgen. Okay, now can't say I didn't try. This is the view from this side. Hadn't seen daylight under there for a while. It has been up once or twice, so. Oh. If I was at the shop, I'd give this a good cleaning out, but I can blow it out a little bit, but that's about all that's going to happen. Okay, I see a bunch of liquid in the bottom. A lot of antifreeze. And I thought I seen, where'd them hoses go? Here's 2 heater hoses. And it looks like, man, I gotta get down in there. That's a long way down in there. See, I tried to fix them hoses. There's a good old leather glove around them. Here's 2 heater hoses, and looks like one of these had a little extra. I'd say that was it, wouldn't y'all? Man, it had from both ends. Then there's another little spot right there. Okay. This one looks pretty good. I sure didn't need all of that hose. Oh, that's gonna be too much to... Boy, I don't want to leave it with that spot right there too. So if I started there and went to, let me get a rag. Clean this off a little bit. There's one spot, there's the leak right there. I'm gonna have to have some. Got a little ding there. Maybe I can kink it when I get ready to cut it and it don't. All right, I'm gonna shut this off and go get some line and some clamps and we'll resume. Okay, went and got some hose and got it on and climbed up there and started it up. That felt like a rocket ship going up in there, but I wanted to start it up. I'm not gonna let it down. It's gonna be dark here in a little bit. I'm just trying to be sure I ain't got no leaks. I filled it full of water and started it up. Put the splice up there, and then every place I thought it was going to rub, I've got leather gloves and tie straps around it where it's not touching nothing but that leather glove all the way up. So I'm going to check the water, and if it don't leak, I'm just going to leave it up tonight. And then I may put something around them clamps right there just to protect them a little bit. I got on my mechanicing clothes right now, so that's a good use. I found leather gloves work real good when you want to protect the line from rubbing up against a piece of metal. Them leather gloves work pretty good for what you're doing. I've got them things everywhere once they get a little too oily or something like that. I throw them away anyway, so I just started saving them. I just keep them in a box, and if I got a line that's been rubbing or going to rub, I just put it around that line and put a zip tie around it, and that thing works just as good as the stuff they come in, and better probably what they got from the factory. So it's like we're still full of water. I'm going to let it run a little bit, be sure everything's done. So I like to blow a little bit of that stuff out of there, but look how that's piled up back there. Them are two little old computer deals back there. Then there's another one under here, I think. There's one right there. They must make them pretty good, be out in the dirt all the time. So that's all of your pumps and everything that drive the thing, and it's just a big torpedo of pumps on this thing, and I don't see nothing leaking or nothing. I mean, all that's antifreeze that was spraying around, so you don't want to have no leaks on that, because if it's in the middle, you got to start on one end or the other and just start pulling the whole thing out of it. So well, I'm going to kind of pick up some of my stuff. I don't know why that fan does that. It reverses by itself. Seems like when you first start it up or right before you shut it off, it always reverses. It's not going to hurt nothing. Well, I'm glad I got my water leak fixed. I don't like nothing leaking. I mean, especially when you don't know what it is or how much it's going to leak. It must have bounced around and made that hole a little bit bigger. So anyway, it's supposed to be a little cooler in the morning. Maybe the wind's not blowing so bad. I'll buckle it back up in the morning and get back to digging. So we'll let y'all see some of that tomorrow as we're digging, after we get everything let down and bolted back up. So thanks for watching this channel. If you haven't subscribed, wish you'd do that. Hit the like button and share it with all your friends and like your comments like always. So till tomorrow, remember, keep your blade shiny and your tracks clean. Bye.